Hi beauties, this is actually my most requested video thus far. It's my eyebrow video. I have not done an eyebrow video simply because I haven't really found a method of doing my eyebrows that I am just head over heels for yet. I have a lot of different techniques that I've used. I've tried a lot of different products. It wasn't until today that I actually came up with a method that I feel is worthy of being used over again. I have had the longest journey trying to find a method that I absolutely love when it comes to my brows. I think the eyebrows are the most important part of the makeup look. So let's say that you have your eyeshadow on point, your liquid eyeliner is just winged to perfection, your contour just makes you look like a goddess, and your highlight is flawless, and your eyebrows look ratchet. You probably should have rethunk that. I have struggled so much trying so many different products, so many different methods, that kind of thing, with trying to get a brow that I actually would wear every day. So my problem is they're always too dark here at the front area. They're either too short out here. Sometimes I've even done them too long. They're too thick in here. And my eyebrows, my natural eyebrows, are actually really retarded. Like, they cut off, I believe, like right here, but it's not like a whole line and then they cut off. It like gets tinier and tinier. So it gets hard for me as I'm applying the product to the brow to blend it out, because the product that I put on my eyebrow is of course going to be a lot darker than the product that I actually apply to the skin to technically fill the brow in. So I've been struggling. So I figured this is a perfect moment to go ahead and crank out an eyebrow tutorial. Now mind you, my eyebrow routine changes quite often. I mean, this is going to be a method that I stick to, but of course for different looks my eyebrows need to look a different way. So the main thing with the eyebrow, and let me just go ahead, the main thing with the eyebrow is what you want to remember. Your eyebrow is supposed to start right here. Usually I think people say start right here, but my face isn't made for that. So I start right about here to where the crease of my nose goes up, and this is where it ends, and boom, that's where my eyebrow starts. And then you're supposed to go at a 45-degree angle out from your face, which is probably about here. So it's a perfect angle from here to here. My nose is a little bit wider than normal people, so when you tell me to start my eyebrow right here, let me get another brush because I'm going to show you how that looks. That looks utterly ridiculous. Like, I'm going to have this big gap right here. So my nose is like really wide in my perception. So I start my eyebrow, like I said, right here where the crease of my nose begins, and we go ahead and go out at a 45-degree angle, and this is where you want it to stop. You don't want it to extend that, because then it'll just look like it's running around your face, and that's not what an eyebrow is made for. So I start right here once again and go into this 45-degree angle, and that's how I can tell my starting and stopping point. Now, if you want a natural looking eyebrow, a lot of people fill in their eyebrows really dark here in the beginning, and that does not look natural. It just doesn't. To me, it looks a mess, but I am guilty of walking around campus thinking I was TikToking and rocking with my eyebrows, and people are giving me compliments on my brows and things of that nature, and I look back at those pictures and I'm just like, dang, nobody told me I was running around campus looking like freaking who shot John and what for. So the method that I use does entail what I call a gradient effect. A gradient effect is when something fades from light to dark, and you want about the first fourth of your eyebrow. So how I can tell, I start my eyebrow right here. I start getting heavier on this part of my brow onto the arch. So that's the technique that I use. That's how I go. And this is, I'll zoom in. Okay, so you see how my eyebrow is light here. You can't really tell that it's filled in, and then it gets dark and more precise. So that's how an eyebrow is supposed to look, especially if you're doing it for like an everyday brow and you don't want to look like, I've seen some pretty messed up things with women filling in their eyebrows. And you know, more power to you for trying. I'm not going to knock you for trying, but I am going to ask you to try again. Just rethink it. Yeah. And once again, I am guilty of doing the same thing. You know, this is a learning process. You learn with practice, you learn with experience. So I don't want you to think that I'm downing you. If you like your brows like that, by all means, do you. Just, you know, don't let me stop your shine. But it's just personally, I don't like my eyebrows to look like that. So we are going to go ahead and hop into the actual tutorial. This is an e.l.f. Cosmetics small angled brush purchased at Target in my local area. This allows me to go into the front end of my brow. It's more so fluffy than anything, so I'm able to create a great gradient effect without packing on too much color to the front end of the eyebrow. I absolutely love this brush for that. Now this is a more dense small angle brush by Sonia Kashuk, also purchased at Target. This came in a set with 4 other brushes. I use this to go into the tail end of my brow and create a precise arch and a nice point there at the end. It's more dense once again, and it allows me to go ahead and pack on more color so the gradient effect can definitely continue throughout the eyebrow. This is just a flat shader brush purchased from BH Cosmetics. It came in a set with 11 other brushes. I use this to carve out the brow. It's a nice straight line, so it allows me to get in really close and definitely go ahead and define that brow more so than what I'm able to do with any other brush. This brush also was purchased from BH Cosmetic. I go in with any color that I want to set my underbrow with, whether it be a flesh tone, a shimmer, whatever you decide to use. This brush is perfect to apply that color. It packs on color, but it doesn't give too much to where it begins to look really chalky. This brush also came in a set from BH Cosmetics. I use the brush to go ahead and get all my brows aligned. I brush them into place before beginning my brow. But I also go in after I filled my eyebrows in and just blend any harsh lines out, and to make sure that I do a clean sweep of the brow and brush them in place. You can also use a spoolie for this. This is the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in Chocolate. I have recently featured this in one of my previous videos. I absolutely love this product for going in the front end of my brow and creating a gradient effect. It was $18 at Ulta, and I'm absolutely in love. This is the MAC Fluid Line Dip Down. It is used for the tail end of my brow, and it is much darker than the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade, so I use it to fill in the tail end of my brow. So we're just going to go ahead and get started with the tutorial. Here I'm just going to start brushing my brow into place. This is just to ensure that I get all of the crazy flyaways aligned and in perfect order so I can have an easier time shaping the brow. I'm going to use some of that Anastasia's brow pomade. It's a whipped formula from what it seems, so it allows you to go in and not use too much product there. I use just short, light-handed strokes, filling in the brow, tracing the bottom and then the top, and extend that line onto where the arch will be formed. And I just take my time with this just to make sure everything is blended and it looks as natural as possible. Once again, short strokes, and I'm using a very light hand. The grip on the brush is not intense at all. Just gonna go ahead and move that product towards the middle of the brow here. Then I'm gonna grab some of the MAC Dip Down and finish off lining the outer corner of my brow there. I start at the bottom of my brow and follow that angle on up, and wherever I decide to end, that's going to be the tip or the peak of my arch. And I'll just go ahead and curve that on around and down to the tail end of my brow here. I'll go in again to grab some more of that MAC product and place a little bit more on the tail end of my brow so it can be a little bit darker. Take my time with this to make sure that everything is blending correctly and it looks as natural as possible. I fill in the space there and make sure that the edge there is at a very pointed tip. Now it's okay if you make any mistakes on this part, because on the bottom brow, underneath the brow, you're actually going to go in and correct that with concealer. So I just mainly focus on the shape of my brow, more so how defined it is at this point. So blend that out to your liking. Alright, now I just went ahead and grabbed a little bit more of that Anastasia brow pomade and put that all over the brow. Now I apply this over the MAC fluid line and dip down for a specific reason. This product is waterproof, so it's just me sealing that MAC product on the brow. And then just take any spoolie or eyebrow brush that you have and blend everything out. Now you want to go ahead and bring the product in a little further. Get some of the product on the tip of the brush and bring it in slowly towards the center of your forehead there. And that'll allow you to place product on the brow without putting too much at the tip there. Brush everything together once again and make sure everything is aligned, and then go in with any concealer that you have. I'm not a fan of liquid concealer use under the brow. It can tend to get a little bit runny and hard to blend, so I'm just going in with a cream concealer. I got this off of Amazon. It's no named actually, it's just a concealer palette that I got, and I'm just going to go in with that flat brush and define my brow even more. Be careful with this part. It is easy to mess up, so take your time and make sure it's to your liking. This is what gives you the defined look. It's not unless I'm doing a really intense eye look that I conceal on the top of my brow and go in and carve it out. Not really a fan of that look for the natural brow, so I'm just going to blend that concealer down a little bit more. And take my finger, use the warmth from my finger. I do rub my finger together prior to doing this, and it allows the product underneath the eye to diffuse and kind of blend a little bit better into the skin. Take it and blend it out to your liking. From front to the tail end of the brow, make sure that it's blended really nicely and it's not caked on there. Just, we want it to look very seamless. Just going ahead with that fluffy brush and placing my eyebrow color all on there underneath the brow to set that color. Basically, this is a flesh tone color, and I don't always use flesh tone colors, but when I want a natural looking brow, this is my go-to product. And as you saw earlier, I did hit pan on that. I was really shocked. I've never hit pan on any of my products before, so I was really excited. Blend that on now, make sure it looks a little seamless, and once again just go ahead and brush everything out. Make sure that everything is looking a-okay. Now usually I would set this with a eyebrow, like a eyebrow gel, but I don't have one right now. I know Anastasia has a great brow gel, but it can go without. So this is what you get, a finished look. It's a nice, precise, defined brow. This method of doing my brows is probably the most simplest that I've run across thus far. So I always have to remind myself that brows are sisters. Eyebrows are sisters, they're not twins. So what I mean by that is that your brows are similar, but they're not like identical. No one has the same two brows, not Beyonce, not Rihanna, not Britney Spears. No one has the same two brows. This is the same in men and women. So if you can tell, this brow here is arched a little bit more than this one, and that's because I'm just following my natural brow. I'm not trying to do anything super, super dramatic. If my brows were twins, this would be raised a little bit more. So let's see. And I'd need surgery to do that. So instead of being there, it would need to be probably about, yeah, probably about there. But this one sags a lot, and it arches usually a lot sooner than my right eye arches. So I just had to come to grips with the fact that my brows are not gonna be the same. It's just not gonna happen. And once I realized that, I was fine. I just worked with what I had, and this is what I came up with. So I hope the method that I use today is something simple that you guys can incorporate in possible everyday looks, or even when you're wanting to do, super dramatic makeup. You don't want your eyebrows to be the attention grabber. 9 times out of 10, you want your eyeshadow or your lashes to speak. You don't want people directed to your eyebrows. Oh, dang, they should have done something different with their eyebrows. So this probably takes me, both brows probably take me about 2 minutes to do. So it's a routine that I use in under 5 minutes, and it gives me these great, and I absolutely love them. The method that I use may change, but as of right now, this is what I am going to stick to. I absolutely love the way my eyebrows look. We love this method. I'm glad that I tried it out this morning, and I definitely vouch for the Anastasia brow pomade. So these are my brows, my natural looking brows. I hope you guys like them. I like them a lot. Once again, I feel like I say natural all the time. I say natural all the time. Maybe I should stop saying natural. And I hope you find my instructions easy enough to use. I'm also going to be having an upcoming review of the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in chocolate. It'll probably be posted right after this video. So once again, thank you guys for watching. I hope I was able to go ahead and provide you with some helpful hints so you can start filling in your brows like a pro. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, you know where to leave it. Until next time.